Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to another post-game edition of Spits and Suds. I'm Gavin Spittle of 105.3 The Fan, and unfortunately, it was that dreaded second period again where teams seemed to be scoring in bunches. Tonight, 3 goals in 5 minutes, 46 seconds. The Stars just couldn't catch up after that, losing to the Leafs at the AAC by the score of 5-3. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for supporting Spits and Suds as we round out this year, a record year for Spits and Suds in 2024. Boy, you talk about a team that has the Stars numbers. The Leafs are now the Stars are 0-5-2 in the last 7 games against Toronto. And this homestand has really flipped a little bit of what the Stars were doing at home. This is the longest homestand of the season for the locals, and after a dominant start at home, and a dominant start to this homestand against Calgary, the Stars are 3-2 now, with the New York Rangers left on Friday night, and with the Rangers making another trade today, but still having issues. I mean, it's not like it's going to be an easy win. There's a lot of firepower on this Rangers team, so it'll be a tough test for the Stars. So let's get into a few points, and then what we'll do is we'll answer your Twitter X questions, which you guys are so awesome about. First of all, great to have an Original Six in the building. I love watching Original Six teams. I've had Toronto as the Eastern Conference, one of the finalists. And honestly, I think they can make a Stanley Cup run. They are deep. I love their coach. I love the toughness they've added. I love the defense they've added. They've always had that scoring touch, and they might have one of the top 3 to 5 goaltending tandems with Stolarz and Wall. Stolarz has been injured, but still, they have goaltending now. They have defense now. They have physicality now, and add that to a just potent offense. Boy, I'll tell you what, Leafs could be a factor. And wouldn't that be interesting? Because I think it's been 22 years, I looked up, 22 or 23 years since an Eastern Conference Finals. And this is the New York Yankees of the NHL. This is the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL. This is the team that so many Canadians focus their life around, the most popular team in the NHL. When the Leafs do well, we got to take a step back, and we have to realize that and makes the NHL healthier. But it's one of those things where we have been going back and forth on Spits and Suds as far as with Seguin going on the LTIR, the money opening up. Would you rather spend it defensively, or would you rather spend it on a forward that has scoring ability and knows how to put the puck in the net? So I think our Spits and Suds friend Taylor Baird put it best. Since Tyler Seguin came out of the lineup on December 2nd, the Stars have scored the following, and she goes through the scorings: 2, 2, 2, 6, 1, 2, 3, 2. So they did end up getting a low goal, so let's change that 1 to 3 because it was after she tweeted that. And she goes on to say, people will look at Jake Ottinger's performance tonight, say he was the problem, but there is something way worse happening here. The other thing to mention, if you're going against one of the top teams, and Toronto is certainly a top team in the NHL, you can't go 0-4 on the power play. Specifically in the third period, when you're playing catch up, you have a power play opportunity and you can't muster anything. Those are major momentum killers. You did do a good job as far as keeping the Leafs out of the box, only sending them on the man advantage once, but 4 more power plays. And once again, you're towards the bottom of the NHL. So as I read Taylor's tweet, as I look at the power play percentage, 100% now, if you truly want to go for it, and if you, like Jeff Merrick and other NHL insiders say, that the Stars are all in, then you have got to get a top forward. You have got to get a guy that's going to put the puck in the net, that is going to find the puck, and most important, because anyone can put shots on net. The Stars don't have that finisher, that guy that just knows where to put it at the right time. As much as I think that Wall made an amazing save on that 2-on-1 where Blackwell made the nice pass to Heiskanen, I'm not dogging Miro on that, but I think a goal scorer one times that. He just took that extra second to make sure it was right on his stick. And that slight second allowed Wall to get over with the glove. Heck of a save. Heck of a save. But I think a marquee goal scorer scores that, and all of a sudden the momentum changes, and the Stars are down by 1. The barn's rocking in the third period. So I just think they need to get, if they can acquire a top goal scorer, if they truly want to be all in. Further highlighting that, Pete DeBoer was asked by Taylor Barrett after the game on scoring and the recent slump. And DeBoer said, well, listen, with Tyler Seguin out of the lineup and Joe Pavelski retired, interesting that he mentioned Pavelski, as Pavelski was key on the power play. That's 60 goals from last year that are out of the lineup. So we have to fill that void with other guys. Other guys have to find a way to score goals. That includes guys that have scored before getting up to the pace that had been most of their careers. And some other guys that we're counting on to stick some pucks in the net have to do that. Remember that. Guys who have scored before getting up to the pace that had been on most of their careers. Doesn't that sound like the captain, Jamie Benn? Scoreless in his last 7 games. He does have 6 assists, but not putting the puck in the net this year. He says, now having said that, you look at the league averages, we're still scoring at a pretty good, decent rate. And I know it doesn't feel that lately, but we're still in a pretty good spot as far as total goals scored. The second half of that, we're counting on other guys to put the puck in the net. Rope Hintz tonight. Like, we all love Rope Hintz, but I feel like we're on this Six Flags just complete roller coaster ride. I feel like I'm in Arlington on a Six Flags roller coaster when it comes to Rope Hintz. All the talent in the world. But man, that first line has to step up. Rope Hintz just 1 shot on net. How do you have 1 shot on net after that game you had against Washington the other night? So he just flashes. And that's the thing about this team. We need consistency. When asked about Maverick Bourque, DeBoer said he tried hard. I got to tell you guys, if they pick up another forward, I'm not sure Maverick Bourque, he might be included in that deal, or I'm not sure he's not scratched. Yes, he did play on an upper line tonight for a while, and he did have some good shifts, but it's not the same Maverick Bourque we saw in the AHL. Same thing with Logan Stankoven. The woes continue. And I understand, Sean Shapiro said the other night, bad puck luck. Puck's not just going in the net. We saw that with Wyatt Johnson to begin the year. But at the same time, it just felt like when the Maple Leafs went up by 2, how many of you thought that the Stars were actually going to score 3 and win the game? Because I can tell you I didn't. And I'm not trying to dog this team tonight by any means. But this is the reality, is that they are forced to work so much harder to put the puck, especially against upper tier teams. And Toronto did a terrific job as far as clogging center ice, really forcing the Stars to work to get into the offensive zone. In that second period, they tilted the ice specifically toward the end of the second. It was all Toronto. So a nice win by the Maple Leafs, and just shows once again, where are the Stars? Honestly, I think they're in that second or third tier right now as far as the NHL. And you are what your record is. And Colorado could pass you soon, which puts you in the wild card hunt. A lot of season left. But man, You shouldn't have to rely on Evgeny Dodonov for your scoring. You shouldn't have to rely on Sam Steele, who is terrific tonight. Sam Steele deserves a massive stick tap. That fourth line was very good for the Stars tonight. But I need my scorers to score. I need them to step up and dominate the game. And when was the last time that really a Stars player dominated a game? And what happens when you have the flu bug? And yes, that is more than an excuse. That is the reality. When you're missing Thomas Harley, when you're missing Lundqvist, look at one of those goals tonight where both Bichel and Lyubushkin went toward Austin Matthews, and he flipped the puck past them, and that led to the first goal by the Maple Leafs. That's miscommunication as far as the defensemen are concerned for positioning. And I get it when you're flipping pairs all the time and you don't have a consistent pairing on a night-to-night basis. If you did that and the same pair was playing for 15 to 20 games, I'm not so sure that happens. So the flu certainly does affect. And also, remember, a couple of players were out tonight, but how many players went tonight that probably didn't have it all? So I think that probably is a headline, and I probably should have started with that tonight, that the flu bug certainly is a factor, especially when you're playing every other night, basically. Michael Moore says 40-plus shots and you lose? Come on. I live by a rule. Hard work and results are two different things. Do the Stars work hard? Yes. And are the Stars top guy getting results? Absolutely not. Wyatt, Robo, Rope. These are games we need results. We have a scoring problem. Can't wait to fix it. Yeah. And Michael, I think this is a good example of not necessarily putting too much stock in shots, because shots can come from anywhere on the ice. And I'm talking in tight, high pressure, quality opportunity shots against Wall. There weren't a ton of them tonight. And Wall was very, very good. Stopped a 2-on-1, as I mentioned, stopped a breakaway. He is certainly a factor in tonight's outcome. Jake Ottinger did not have the best game. However, Jake Ottinger, Pete DeBoer said after the game, was pulled to give him rest, to give Casey DeSmith a period of action since he just came off the injury list. Makes sense. Also, DeBoer doesn't want to say it, but he wanted to try to change the momentum of the game. You're limited in the amount of changes you can make, and one of the big factors that you can make is changing the goalie out. So not Jake's best game on his birthday. However, the guy has been so good. But we can't put this on Jake Ottinger. And you know what? Name the goalie, because let's start with Connor Hellebuck. Were people ready to get rid of Connor Hellebuck after what happened against the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs? Heck no, he's one of the top goalies around. So when Jake Ottinger has a bad game, and there will be probably about 5 to 7. Right now, I can count 2 games that he's had that just probably are on the rough side, maybe 3, but mostly 2. But all the good games that Jake Ottinger has brought forth, specifically the other night, and he's played in 7 straight games. So he needs some rest. So I'm not surprised if DeSmith maybe goes Friday, or maybe they play him on Monday in Utah. But, Jake probably needs some rest at this point. Brian Schofield. Hey, y'all. Any chance the Donoff's improvement this season is because we have another Russian on the team? That would be Lyubushkin. Not to discount work he has done, but maybe he feels more comfortable. I mean, anytime you have someone from your own country, we see certainly the Finns, lots of Finns on this team, Brian. But I think it's a couple of things with Dodonov. One, feeling more comfortable in Dallas and signing that new deal. I think he feels stable here. I think he feels as though this is a team that is not going to ship him off like other teams have. So with that comes a confidence. And I think he plays his best in Pete DeBoer's system. He's played for DeBoer a few times, and each time he's thrived when Pete DeBoer is the coach. So just a good player I think a lot of teams needed a Donoff, but you shouldn't have to rely on him. But he's a wily veteran, and the salary is very fair for the production that he's putting forth. Really interesting question. Thank you so much, Brian Sticktap, for listening. Jeb asked, this team was a preseason Cub favorite with 2 top lines on paper and are sitting 25th in the league on the power play. Another game tonight where the power play clearly lost us the game. When is anybody going to act concerned? Well, I think we're all concerned. I think, candidly, Jeb, there is a very, very tight relationship with Pete DeBoer and his assistant coach, Steve Spott. And they've coached together for a long time, and that's their job, is the offensive end. And, the other night, the bumper looked really good. It seemed to open up some passing and movement on the power play. Wasn't as stagnant. But tonight, just wasn't there. While I didn't think it necessarily was the determining factor, it certainly was a big factor in this game, going 0 for 4. When you're playing the Maple Leafs, you have to capitalize on mistakes, and you have to capitalize when you have the extra man. Steven says, classic scheduled loss to the Leafs. Just a really unfortunate birthday for Jake. Have to wonder if he started coming down with something too. I vote that we all just forget about tonight, postpone his birthday this year to whatever his next start will be. Yeah, that would be certainly nice. The one thing about goalies, they have to have a quick memory. And Jake Ottinger, look at his record in back-to-back games. I'm not so sure he's going to play against the Rangers, but Jake Ottinger is terrific coming off of a loss. The Thack Man, I noticed Taylor Baird pointed out the lack of scoring since the Seguin injury. As we mentioned, are you concerned about it, and what can be done about it? So, I am concerned about it, and I think you need more depth scoring at this point, and you're not getting it from some of your veterans and younger players. Logan Stankoven needs to be better. Maverick Bourque needs to be better if they're going to be in the lineup on a consistent basis. Jamie Benn needs to be dominant, and I just don't know if Jamie Benn can be dominant anymore. So, like, those 3 right there, that's 3 out of your top 9, so that's 30%. Need to be better. Let me add, Rope Hintz needs to be better. Jason Robertson, both need to be more consistent. We had a night the other night where that first line looked good. Tonight, not dominant. Okay. What else do we have? Aaron Thacker also adds, I know a lot of people that were out with sickness for the Stars, but does that loss tonight to Toronto go down as a bad loss? Genuinely curious. No, it does not go down as a bad loss, because Toronto is one of the best in the league. And to me, when you lose to the best of the league, it goes down as a loss. I think certainly they tried their best. I think they are a tired team since Finland, playing every other night. Personally, I know it's great for the team, and I know it's great for marketing, and I know it's great for the league, and I know it's great for the Finns to go back to their home country. But to me, these trips absolutely wear you down. Not necessarily the trip itself, but every other day you're playing. And when you're logging all those minutes that a lot of the Stars are playing, specifically Lindell, Heiskanen, maybe the wear down factor comes at you quicker. So on top of that, the flu bug and the separation of players due to the flu bug. So they just have a lot of things going on right now. Rod Norton just can't play Heiskanen that much and have him at the end of games. DeBoer is burning him out. Power play coach deserves replacing. Pete can't do it. Nil must step up. Guess that means Jim Nill must step up. Yeah, I think a power play specialist would be really nice. The problem is, this early in the season, who's going to give up a power play specialist? And if you do, you got to give up some stuff in return. I think that's the thing that Stars fans need to realize. Especially to get someone really good, you have to give. All right, that's going to do it for another edition of Spits and Suds. Stars fall, unfortunately, by the score of 5-3. Colorado catching up. So big one on Friday night against the New York Rangers. Chance to get back on the winning track track and finish with a winning homestand. So we'll be back with another episode of Spits and Suds soon. Once again, thank you for all your support in 2024. Spread the word. There's a program that talks a lot of stars in NHL and is trying to grow this great game in DFW. It's called Spits and Suds. I'm Gavin Spittle of 105.3 The Fan. Have a great day, everyone.